Welcome to the McNees Labor and Employment podcast series. This podcast will address the importance of supervisor training by Kelley Kaufman, attorney at law. Ms. Kaufman practices in the Labor and Employment Group at McNees.
Hello. Thank you for joining me for this podcast, which is going to highlight the importance of conducting periodic supervisor and manager training. When was the last time you trained your supervisors on how to recognize and appropriately address important employee issues like discrimination and harassment avoidance, or leave of absence and accommodation management? If the answer is never, or you just can't quite recall, you're probably long overdue. Employers are faced with an ever-increasing body of state and federal law that governs all aspects of the employment relationship. Supervisor training is a critical but often overlooked component of minimizing your company's exposure to claims and liability under these laws. Your supervisors and managers are agents of your company. This means that their actions and their inactions are binding on the company and can expose both the company and, in some cases, themselves personally to legal liability. Your supervisors and managers also are your first line of defense. They're the eyes and ears of your company. That means that they often are in the best position to identify and address employee conduct issues and potential compliance concerns before they become significant problems, or worse, a legal issue. For these reasons, it is vital that supervisors and management understand both the company's obligations under the law and their obligations to the company, and that's where periodic training comes into play. Without effective training, it's unlikely that your supervisors or managers will be able to recognize the variety of potential compliance concerns, much less how to properly address them. And the good news is you don't have to do it all at once. Start with the basics. Start by training supervisors and management on the company's legal obligations in key compliance areas and your related policies and procedures. For example, in the context of discrimination and harassment claims, periodic training is an essential element of an employer's defense to claims of supervisor harassment. That is just one reason why training in this area is so important. Other key compliance areas that are ripe for supervisor training include medical leave of absence and accommodation management, best practices with respect to union awareness and labor relations, and identifying common wage and hour pitfalls, just to name a few. There are also benefits to providing additional supervisor training in a broader range of human resource areas. For example, many of our clients conduct periodic training on hiring and interviewing procedures for hiring managers. They also conduct supervisor training in the areas of effective employee discipline and performance management, and how to document appropriately and effectively. These types of training not only can expand supervisor skill sets and improve their effectiveness as managers, but they can also help the company from a defensibility perspective. Effective training can promote legally compliant procedures and help to ensure that appropriate performance management and documentation exists to support the company's decision-making with respect to employees. These are all critical elements in defending claims of discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. So please, don't underestimate the critical role that your supervisors and management play in minimizing your company's risk of exposure to legal claims. Invest in training to ensure that they understand the company's legal obligations and their obligations to the company. That investment can go a long way towards minimizing your company's exposure to litigation and liability in the future, and ultimately can generate significant cost savings. If you have any questions or would like assistance developing an effective training program for your supervisors and management, please contact us using the information on the screen.